Just give me an initial reaction. How are you feeling now that you have been released?
Well, it's been a roller coaster ride, so we're all three of us glad to be out.
What actually happened? Take us back to the day that you were detained. Take us through how it all unfolded.
Okay, well, on Tuesday, we were down in a place called Helwan, which is south of Cairo, covering a Muslim Brotherhood demonstration. And everything went off peacefully, and we were driving back to Cairo, and we were stopped in an army checkpoint. The army has real issues, specifically with Al Jazeera. So when we were caught by the army, we admitted that we were working for Al Jazeera, and things just turned nasty straight from there. They confiscated all the gear. They blindfolded us, took us to military intelligence, questioned us for several hours, then handed us over to the police. And then we spent basically the next 6 days on a kind of roller coaster ride. Yes, you're leaving. No, you're leaving. Now you're being charged. No, you're not being charged. And there were a range of charges that were initially preferred against us. The initial charge was espionage, but because we had no images of the military decided to let that one go. Then there were charges of carrying illegal equipment. Then there were charges of carrying stab vests. They basically everything that they could find to throw the book at us to keep us in detention for as long as possible. They basically tried. And in the end, they basically decided the best course of action was just to deport us. And so we're on our way out now.
So when they actually decided that they were going to detain you, you say because you work for Al Jazeera, are you being isolated because you work for that particular network? What is the grievance with Al Jazeera from the Cairo authorities?
Well, in Egypt specifically, Al Jazeera has come under a lot of flack. I mean, having been the darling of the revolution in 2011, it's now the anathema of the revolution. And there's been a huge reaction, groundswell reaction against anything that's pro-Brotherhood. And I'm not saying that Al Jazeera is necessarily pro-Brotherhood, but it's regarded here as a pro-Brotherhood news organization. And it's basically, it's a war against Al Jazeera right now. I mean, they are determined to intimidate and just Al Jazeera journalists and stop us from looking. It's not only Al Jazeera, it's all foreign press are regarded as basically opposing the coup and opposing the political situation that has now resulted from that coup. You know, the clampdown, all the killings, all the arrests. I mean, to tell you the truth, we got off pretty lightly in comparison to many of the Egyptians. I mean, we were in a jail in Helwan where the police station that we were held in had been raided on the day of the clampdown against the Muslim Brotherhood. There's been an assault on that particular police station. 34 police officers have been killed. Prisoners have been freed. And they were just literally rounding up people from all over the town and bringing them into the jail. And so, you know, we had a bird's eye view on exactly the scale of the clampdown that's going on right now.
Tell me about your other members from Al Jazeera, Adil. I've heard information that there are other members of Al Jazeera who were also detained.
Yep.
Is that true? What's happened to them?
There were four of us. There was a New Zealander who was the reporter. His name is Wayne Hay. There was a medic who was with us. His name is Russ Finn. And there was an Egyptian producer and fixer, Baha Muhammad. And he particularly had a very rough time because on that first night when we were taken by the police, you know, we were all lined up against the wall. They had put a gun to his head. They cocked the gun. They were threatening to shoot him. You know, for a while there it was kind of touch and go. But he took a lot of the stick because he's Egyptian and they regard him as a traitor.
Adil, did you see them holding did you see them holding a gun to his head?
Yeah, I saw it. It's one of these new Heckler & Koch 9mm submachine guns. Put it to his head, cocked it twice. A pretty scary moment for all of us.
Were you ever threatened with any form of physical violence?
No, not me specifically. None of our crew was. And to tell you the truth, some of the cops were very professional. But there were a lot of our gear was stolen. Like iPhones were stolen, my camera was stolen, various other bits of kit were nicked, money was stolen. You know, it's just generally it was just part of the harassment.
Tell me about when you heard you were going to be released. How did that happen? Who fought for your release? Was it SA government? Was it Al Jazeera? Take me through that.
No, basically what happened, we went to court and we appeared before a public prosecutor. And the prosecutor basically kept promising us that he was going to release us, and every day we were going to get released, and then we went back to the cells. And every day we were going to be released and sent back to the cells while they were working on what charges to get us with. And in the end, they got us with illegal visas, and so that's why we're being deported. I mean, it's basically a trumped-up charge.
Are you going to go back?
Sorry?
Are you going to go back to Egypt?
Yeah, I don't see why not. If they need me to, they're not going to scare me off.
What does your family and friends say now that you've been released? I imagine they're obviously very, very relieved. I understand you're married, if I'm not mistaken, as well. What has your family said about you being detained and now being released, Adil?
Well, my wife's obviously very relieved. We have a new baby. I have 6 children, so a rather large family. But yeah, they're all pretty relieved that I'm out. I'm pretty relieved too, to tell you the truth.
What is next for you? I understand you're leaving Cairo. Where are you going from now?
Well, they're deporting us back to London, and then I'll be on a flight tomorrow night from London back to Joburg.
And once you're in Joburg, what's your next mission, do you think? Are you going back to Africa or somewhere else? As in Egypt?
Wherever. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be probably around Joburg for a while.
Thanks for talking to us.
News that moves. eNCA.com.